the BP oil spill 1 year later. Just in case you live under a rock. April 20th, 2010, BP's Deepwater Horizon oil rig had an explosion that killed 11 people. According to the National Wildlife Federation, an estimated 170 million gallons were released from the rig exponentially. The spill, stretching from Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and all the way to northwestern Florida, right around Port St. Joe, was 10 times the size of Exxon Valdez, and more than 8,000 birds, sea turtles, and marine life were reported dead or injured in the 6 months after the explosion. Wetlands. Some 3,000 miles of wetlands and beaches were reported as contaminated after the explosion. The contamination, as well as the efforts to clean it up, are damaging, killing vegetation and accelerating erosion, which is also converting most of the land to open water. The coastal wetlands are already 2,000 square miles smaller than 80 years ago, and with this explosion as well as other environmental disasters, they're projected to lose another 1,000 by the year 2050. Ocean. The toxic components found in the sea level were low, probably as a result from the microbes, but the bad thing is that there's not enough oxygen in the water. Dead and dying deep-sea coral reefs were found 7 miles away from the rig and might not recover for decades, if not 100 years.
Fish.
The study done by LSU shows that even though oil concentrations are low and the fish are safe to eat, the toxic components still have potentially threatening biological effects. Gill tissues that are very important to the biological processes of a fish were found damaged, and the fish have a high likelihood of being incapable to reproduce normally. The food web. There are a lot of questions and controversy about where the oil went. William Monty Graham, a plankton expert at the Dauphin Sea Island Lab in Alabama, used the ratio of different types of carbon and microbes and plankton around and even under the oil slick to test this theory. The ratio jumped 20%, which means basically that oil is in the food web. Thankfully, by late September, the ratios went back to normal. What Graham found is just a marker of movement, no need to get too scared. But the question is if this will affect, or already has affected, the life cycle and the production of certain marine life. In conclusion, chemical dispersants that were used may not be detected for years, and while they might not affect the vegetation, but as for the animals, who knows? Because the timing of the disaster was around breeding season, some age classes may be wiped out or diminished, which could affect the population and the food web. Basically, a fraction of the beaches are still soiled. The areas that were affected were already overexploited and in need of help. The road to recovery is a long one, and there's still so much left to do.
Something scary!
BP has received their first permit to drill in the Gulf since the accident. Hopefully this time they won't take shortcuts. That's all, folks.
Got me in a trance. DJ turn me up. Ladies, this your jam. I'ma sip Moscato. You gon' move the pants. And I'ma throw this money while you do it with no hands. Girl, drop it to the floor. I love the way you put it, girl. All I wanna do is sit back and watch you move, and I proceed to throw this game.
Can we start over? Port St. Joe. Can we start over? Can we do that over? Can we start over? I messed up. Monty Graham, a plankton expert at the Dauphin Sea Island Land. Sea Island Land? What does that mean? Wait, I didn't know the. And okay.
Oh no!
Oh, my feet are wet. No. Okay. Up and.
I would come help you, but I kind of got a camera in my hand.
Okay. I got this. No.
Ah!
Okay, come on. Okay. This is like.
Okay. Hold on.
So